All right, got all of those so quickly. Since y'all basically... All right, 154. And after we finish this, we are actually going to do a nice little 2 videos to explain some trend lines because I dislike trend lines severely. And unfortunately, this is what I get to teach today. So, yay me.
You have to?
Yep, because the state says I need to, and I make sure that I teach everything the state says I need to teach. Especially since I have no clue what's on the STAR test. If I teach to my teaks, you guys should be peachy and keen on the STAR test. Kind of like awesome sauce.
Oh, I'm awesome sauce.
Y'all are awesome sauce. All right. When scatter plots demonstrate a linear relationship, that means we can do a straight line. We can use basically a straight line, as I say the same thing twice, can be used to show the general pattern of the data. A trend line or line of best fit is a, what do y'all think? It's the word I keep saying over and over and over. Straight. Yep, it's a straight line that should lie as close as possible to the points of data in the scatter plots. Basically, the closer you get to the center, the better off you be. That makes sense so far? So you want to get as close to the middle of the data as possible. So, what do y'all think for the first one?
No.
Is that a good trend line?
No.
Does it even go through any of the data?
No. No. I think number 2 is one.
All right, so if we're going to draw a trend line, we need to go through the middle of all the data as much as possible. All right, what about the next one?
Yes.
Yeah.
It goes through a straight through the middle.
And I'm paraphrasing what Mr. Angel just said. Goes through the middle. What about number 3?
No.
How come?
It's like on the outside. It doesn't go through any of them.
Because it's on the outside.
I just said that.
Or we could even say it's above them. So if I was to draw a trend line, it'd be close to that one, but it'd probably be a little bit lower than that. Now, remember that your trend lines do not necessarily start at 0, 0. If you always try to make it start at 0, 0, some of these trend lines may not work. So what about number 4?
It doesn't take majority of them.
No, it doesn't take majority of it.
Yeah, it's under what Miss Paris said. All right, so if I was to draw a trend line this one, it'd be just a little bit above it.
And not be a good one.
Yeah,
That would be a fairly decent one.
yeah, it'd be a good one.
All right, now, remember that whole slope thing where we did rise and run?
Yeah.
Guess what? We're doing it again.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
I sucked at that.
Well, hopefully this time around it'll make a little bit more sense. Okay, so remember your slope is always your M. We're going to look for the y, look at the y-axis to find the y-intercept. If you remember correctly, that is our B. All right, and obviously what is your equation for slope-intercept form?
Y equals mx plus b.
Very nice. All right, so we're going to do a slope-intercept form for each of the trend lines below. So we're going to start with our y is equal to
Y equals 8.
x plus, so we're going to leave a blank in front of x because that's going to be our m. So what is our b?
8.
8. Now, all we have to do, since we got 0, 8, and we've got 3, 7, what do y'all think your rise is? As soon as my lovely iPad comes back.
I think it'd be negative.
1 7.
Hold on. All right, so this is going to be a negative. So I'm going to put a negative. Now, what is your, so I've got my 2 points. How much am I going up?
1.
What is my run?
1 over 3.
1, 2, 3. I got 3. So this would be a negative 1 over 3x. All right, any questions up to here?
So our B, is it just where it
Okay,
starts
so
from?
stop. Yeah, it's always your beginning of your graph. So anytime you look at the y-axis, it's your beginning. Good question. All right, anybody else got a question? All righty. Wow. Good if I had stuff together today. All right, so what about my next one?
It's
What's my B?
equals plus B, or x plus B.
Okay.
It would be a positive.
There's my pen. So y is equal to a positive x plus, what is my B?
100.
100. That's where it crosses our y-axis. That's our beginning.
X would be 1/2.
Okay, so hold on. What's my graph going by? Okay, so hold on. If it's going by 50s, what about that one? All right, so we got 25. So each of our rises is 25, as I try to write another 25. All righty. So where's my next point? I got 0, 100. And then what's my next point that crosses?
Our next point is 4.
I could do 4. Is there another one closer?
2, 1, 3.
2 and 120, 2 and 125.
Like, gotcha.
Now, so if I'm going, how much am I going up?
1.
I'm going up 1 blank. But what is my graph going by?
25.
So it's 25. Now, how much am I going over? 2. So I can either leave this as 25 over 2, or I could put it as a decimal. So what I'm looking for is I want to see if my work needs to have a decimal. So I would look at all of my answer choices first. So if I see a 12.5x plus 100, then I know that that's probably going to be in decimal form. Most of the time, you're probably going to just see it as 25 over 2. Any questions up to here? Everybody good? All right, let's do our next one. Y is equal to x plus, so we got a negative. Okay, so what's your graph going by?
It's going by 5.
So 5s.
So negative 45.
Is that a negative up there?
Oh, no.
Is it above is it above your x-axis?
I think
That means it's going to be a positive. And then we got 45. All right. What's my other point? One and 35? Okay, so what is my rise?
it's 1.
How much am I going up by? I'm going up 2 blocks. So how much is each block worth? So 5 times 2 is what? 10. And how much am I going over?
1.
And I can see all of these are by 1s. So that means I'm just left with a negative 10. All right, any questions? Y'all good so far? Anybody need more time to write any of this down?
No.
Anybody need more time? Going once? Going twice? Gone. Okay. We're going to look at our points. And we're going to figure out whether these points she chose will help her write the correct equation on the line. So y'all ready? So if we pick point 180 and 230, does that seem like it's going to be a good match? So let's figure it out. So we'd go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is going by 10. So 50 over 1, which is Riley. Do y'all see what I'm doing here? Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the actual slope of the line. So what are some good points? Do we have a good point? So 1 and 70, I'll go with that one. And? 2 and 50, I'll go with that. So this one, I'm going to go 1, 2. That'd be 20 over 1. Do those two match?
No.
So this would be a no. We could say the slopes don't match. So then what is our equation?
Y equals 20.
Is it a positive slope?
Negative.
And then what's my B?
Plus
90. Remember, it's wherever it crosses that y-axis. Any questions up to here? Are we good? All right, number 9. Obviously, we have no numbers here. But I'm betting if we draw in some trend lines, we might be able to figure this out. So y'all ready? And sorry about my little squiggly lines.
Those are beautiful lines.
It is crooked as all get out, but that's okay.
It's very pretty.
Thank y'all. Okay, we're looking for a positive slope first.
So it's 90.
So it's B
So it's not D, and which one else could it not be? So, and then it says, what's our B?
I think it's
5.
5. So, does that look like a 5 to you?
no.
No, that's a 0, 0 point.
C looks the closest, maybe.
So, C is our only positive slope with a B that is not 0. Is not 0. Actually, I guess I could just leave it as 0. That works better. All right, so it's not 0. Y'all good with that? This is what we call process of elimination. So if you're ever not sure, this is something you can do. All right, any questions? Anybody need more time to write that down?
Oh, man.
Tristan, you need a little bit of time? Okay. I saw some people writing. You're good? Gracie, you need a little bit more time to finish writing? Okay. Okay. All right, we got our last one. Mrs. Hamilton surveyed some of her students by asking how many minutes they spent studying for their math test and the score they made on the math test. It says the results are shown. So it's first asking us what's the slope. So, how do I figure that out?
You put your B.
Okay, so what is my B?
60.
Okay, so what answer is that? Okay, because there's our y-intercept. And what does it mean? What's that y-intercept talking about? What about the test score? Okay. So we could say the lowest they made was a 60? Okay. What about, so now how do I figure out the slope?
You find another point.
Where's my point?
70 and 15.
So 1570? All right. So what's my rise?
1.
So if I'm going up by 1, what is my actual
10.
10? Because I'm looking at the sides of my graph and it's going by 10s. 1, 2, 3. And you're saying it's 10 over 15? Alrighty. So if I simplify that down, it becomes 2 over 3. Y'all good with that? So what does this mean? What's the 2 talking about? Okay, so let's look at our graph. What is the rise talking about?
How much it will.
That's your score. What's your run talking about?
Oh,
So minutes. Now, what do we now know about that 2?
it's an average school.
So what are your test scores usually in?
100. Well, I mean,
Hundreds, which is what? What do you make for grades? Percent.
oh,
So we could say for every 3 minutes, what happens?
a percent.
1%?
No, every 2%.
So for every 3 minutes they study, they can gain up to 2% on their test. So now what's the equation?
Y equals 2 over 2x plus 60.
And bada bing, bada boom. All right. What do we got? Do we have any questions? All right, so we're going to watch our nice little videos. And that way y'all can kind of see how to draw a trend line and see if you guys have any questions on that.